or human behavior, or you want to help someone, anything that has triggered that no, I will go for this profession?
Hello,
Ma'am, to
ma'am.
help
Hello,
someone to
ma'am.
understand someone's mind's behavior, how the minds and behavior are connected, how one person is behaving toward another person, the relationship between one and another person. So
Fine.
this thing forced me to take this subject, and I'm very happy to have this.
Sure. And I'm very happy that you are mentioning and focusing on the word. I am very happy. That is most crucial thing, because we are
Thank you,
in some
ma'am.
profession and we are not happy with that. Then we are not going to give our maximum efforts, or not going to help someone in a complete way. But when we are saying that we have, as per your messages also, I am getting some information and some opinions that to help someone, or I like to like this subject, or psychology is helpful for everyone. But at this point of time, can we say that here I have also finding few definitions, or we can say few ideas in our mind, that we are very sure that if you are going to help someone and it is going to be helpful for that person, we are very sure about that. Yes.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
yes,
ma'am. Yes,
Because
ma'am.
we
yes,
are, and if some polishing is required, or some training is required, then we are going for this training, so that we will be equipped and efficient to help another person, right?
right.
And how we are so much sure that we can change another person?
Yes,
We have to
ma'am.
just
To
think,
some
we have to
extent.
just think. Yes, ma'am.
Hello,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. To some extent, we can change others. Not fully, but we can try. We can
Yes, yes.
understand others. We can share others' feelings.
Hmm. So to some extent, you think we can change, but
Yes, ma'am.
and any other views?
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, as I think we can try our best to other person's difficulties to help them, and but the
Hmm.
thing is that how much that person will accept our thing, that is totally dependent upon that person, because if he is willing to get out of it, then
Hmm.
only he will be getting the help as we expect.
Fine,
Otherwise,
fine.
the rate of improvement may be lower than our expectation.
Okay, okay. Any other opinion? Is there?
Ma'am, can I say one more thing?
Please, please.
Ma'am, we can help them to think very positively regarding their difficult situation, in their hindrances or obstacles, so that
Hmm.
they can cope up with their difficult situations, with
Fine,
their bad times. Because ma'am, we can only show them a path
fine.
in their dilemma stage, but how to walk within it, it's totally depend upon themselves. So ma'am, i
Absolutely.
i will only say that ma'am, the motivation is very important for each and everybody.
Fine. That is absolutely nice that we can show them the path, because we
Yes
cannot
ma'am.
walk for them. We can show them the path. But here, before helping others, let me first, I always believe that we are also human beings, and we also come from the same society. We are not from Mars. We are living in the same society. And we take the privilege to help another person. And we think that we have some qualities or efficient skills within us that we can change them, right?
These
Yes
questions
ma'am.
come to our minds sometimes. What's special in us that we can help others? We are also human beings like them.
Yes. And
Yes.
basic thing is that we are from in the same societal structure.
Yes,
And we,
ma'am.
as Indians, we are, for example, we are talking about India. We all live in the same country, and we have some common structural views about ourselves, and still we are thinking that no, we can have a we can say we can have the privilege, or we can have the option to change another person. Here we need to think what made us to think or take ourselves that yes, we can do this, either based on our past experiences. I'm just giving you options. I'm not giving you the verdict. Either based on our past experiences, we might have thought that yes, I am good in helping people, all of we, those who are in the profession, or we have thought that no, I have the educational background, so that I can enter into, because someone from literature may or may not enter into this training, but I can enter into, right? Or based on our records, yes, I have done something, my belief system, my strong belief on myself that yes, I am capable of doing these things, right? These are certain viewpoints or certain factors which are helping us to move ahead with the profession, right? Till now I'm right, and this is the basic idea that we are in this profession based on this, nothing else. Because either you can be inspired by someone, or it is your own perception about yourself, and you have come to a point that yes, we are confident enough to move ahead, right? So all of you are confident now, confident to move ahead with training, with skills that we are going to learn, but we're ready, right? For example, today itself, I went to college, but I had certain apprehension that I'm going to meet you all for the first time, so I don't know how the class will curve, and that thing is within our mind. Though I am doing counseling for last so many years, but still there is a point to think about and to check my confidence. So it is very natural in human beings that we have to cross check our confidence continuously and constantly, that whether we are ready to move or we still need some preparation, right? And for that still needs some preparation, I came early. I came back early because I normally used to return around 6, 7. But now I'm at home. I'm getting my point. So that confidence, now I'm confident that yes, we can talk. So here I am just asking you all that are we ready to move ahead with our existing knowledge, belief, and education? Yes. We will learn. Faults will be there.
We are
But
on the way. We are
we are on the way, but we are ready to go.
Yes.
For example, I have packed my bags, but I don't know what turn the journey will take, but I'm ready to go. We are in this stage. So we can say that yes, I have bought my tickets, I'm ready to board, but I do not know whether the flight will crash or I will land a safe landing. Okay. And in counseling, in each and every session, you will have this feeling because you have no idea which turn it is going to take. It seems very easy that we are going to change someone, but at certain and we will discuss it later. But here I am not demotivating. I am saying we need to practice, we need to polish our skills each and every day. That doesn't mean that I've learned means I will stop learning. No, the learning is lifelong and it is going to be with us, right? So here, just as I'm saying, we are confident enough. So can I ask you very simple one or two questions? And I require immediate answers, right? Very fundamental question I am going to ask you. First question, are you all friendly?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, it's dependent
How many
upon
of you are,
situation.
okay, one deviation is there depending upon the situation. And any other?
On the person.
Friendly.
On
And
the
rest are yes?
On the
Yeah, naturally we are.
Obviously. We are counselors, so we have to be friendly.
We have to be friendly.
Those who are deviating from yes, only they tell me what is the deviation.
Ma'am, we are friendly to some extent only.
To some extent only, and one has said
Yeah,
that
to some extent.
depending upon the situation.
Yeah.
And depending on the person also, our friendliness differs.
Okay. There
Person to person also, we are not that much friendly.
so is the question right that are you friendly? Why I am asking you? I should ask the other person.
I would like to, madam, I would like to interfere. As in, I'm talking about myself.
Yes, ma'am.
I wouldn't say as I'm unfriendly, but I do take time to mingle with people. You know, I take some time, I sit back, I observe, and I don't know why that hindrance is there, but yes, I do have that. As in, but once I start talking, you can find the best of friend in me.
Fine. So many of us, we are going to agree that yes, we are friendly, and few are saying that depending upon the situation, depending upon the person, right? So those who are saying friendly, I'm talking to them, and rest you are listening. Please listen carefully. Those who are saying yes, we are friendly. Can you be friendly with me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Though we are in virtual world, it
Yes,
would
yes,
be very nice if you are in a face to face. I used to do it in the classes. Can you be friendly with me? For example, any one of you, voluntarily.
After doing this 5 minutes or 10 minutes virtual classes, I think I'm maybe familiar with you.
Okay. For example, ma'am, I'm just replying your answer, and this answer will be applicable to everyone. As you were saying, ma'am, that after 5 or 10 minutes, you can be friendly with me. For example, you are saying me, hello, ma'am,
Hello.
and I'm not responding you.
I have already interacted through this
No,
virtual
this
class.
is a simulated condition. For example, for the very first time, I'm interacting with you, and
Don't upset me.
we are interfacing, and you are saying hello, ma'am. For example, it will be my first class in a face-to-face one,
Yeah.
and you are saying me hello, ma'am, and I am not responding.
So,
Then again, you may try, and very simple example I am giving. Those who are in teaching, ma'am, Gaurama ma'am can very well identify with this. While we are just crossing the corridor of the classes or the colleges, many things are going in our mind. For example, I have to finish this and I have to reach there. So many things we are thinking of at that point of time, and few students are wishing us. Many times, unmindfully, we don't respond. What is the reaction? The students. I always ask the students, how do you feel? They feel that with so much grace, I wish the madam, and madam didn't respond. Next time, I'm not going to do it. And this is the commonality with all, because when we are talking about yes, we are, yes, sir.
This does not happen every time. After
Okay.
once or twice, we could know the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
If you did not respond me for once also, I won't mind. Once,
Okay.
twice, thrice, I will try, and I
Okay.
could know that this is the way of responding of man. That's
Okay.
what the students are also doing.
I understand. But what I am trying to say, when we are saying, as you are saying, twice or thrice, we have to wait, and we can say that no, this is not the usual way of responding. Why I am thinking? Because here the thinking point is coming. We always say that we are friendly means we have calculated certain things. For example, in a 24 hours of a day, we might have minimum friendly with 6 hours to 7 hours or 10 hours with everyone. And what is our age? We have to just find out the 7 hours into 7 for a week, then into 4 for a month, then into 12 for 1 year, then into our usual age. Have we done this kind of calculation? I asked the question, everybody responded immediately. Yes, we are friendly, we are friendly, we are friendly. And when I'm putting forth this question that if I will not respond, your all friendliness is coming at stake. Now you will start questioning yourself, am I friendly? Here one question, one of the students, those who have told that depending on the situation, I completely agree, and depending upon the person. Many of our qualities are dependent on the other person whom we cannot control. For example, I will smile or I will respond or I will ignore. That is totally my choice. And your friendliness is depending upon my choice. And we are tagging ourselves as friendly or not. We always say these are essential indeterminants, because my idea of myself is not totally depending on myself. So when we are talking about any client and people, for example, you are working in a school and teachers will just refer you, this child is very hyperactive or the child is very naughty. So we shouldn't start counseling by just looking at the information that has been provided to us. These are just the informations we have to keep aside. We have to start in a very neutral point of view. For this reason only I have started that many personality traits that we assign to ourselves are actually dependent on other person, dependent on society, dependent on situations, dependent on emotions of another person. For example, as sir has said, I may be unmindful, so that is going to affect you. So being counselors, why I'm telling you, because we need to unlearn all the socialization processes we have learned till now, because this is something new, this is something unique we are going or entering into. Because whatever we have learned till now, that is okay, because till now we are not dealing with human beings, emotions, their problems, their difficulties, but from today onwards we are dealing with human beings with some problems, right? So first thing is that whatever thing we are very simply saying, we first need to understand, we have to comprehend, then we can answer. First notion I always say, being counselor, we have to first reframe ourselves, then we can go for another person. Technicalities, everything are there in our book. You can, and without them also we are not going to proceed. Those are the backbones. But still, we need to have some clarity in our ideas, in our opinion, how we are moving. Right? This is one question. So, second question, shall I ask, or it needs, or it is somewhat boring? Fine. Will it be fine?
No, ma'am, ask.
Okay.
You can ask, ma'am.
Because why I am telling, because now it is time to rethink and redefine ourselves before proceeding for counseling sessions. One
Sasha,
fundamental question. Yes, ma'am.
You ask question. I will tell the name of the student who will answer.
Fine, ma'am. Fine.
Then it's open to all. But first choice, I will say some names they have to answer. Otherwise, others can go ahead.
Okay, ma'am.
For the names.
And ma'am, this is the very common question I'm going to ask. How many senses we all have? Simple.
5 sense organs.
5.
5.
5.
All are 5? High 5?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. 5.
Who told you we have 5 senses?
We read it.
We read it? When? In our schools?
Yes.
And we believe that? Do you believe that? What are those 5 senses?
Eyes, ears, nose,
Eyes, ear, nose,
Everything in our face
skin.
and only the skin part, right? Can you all sense hunger?
Yes.
How? In which sense?
Ma'am, hunger.
Stomach. Stomach.
Through the stomach. And ma'am, with the help of mind also.
It's all.
Okay. Thirst. Thirst is also same thing.
Yes, ma'am.
And what about we can say itching? Itching sensation.
Yes, ma'am.
So from where we are getting those senses? Though we are having 5. But we all feel hungry and thirsty, right? Basic things. I'm not going into body balance and deeper sense organs or senses. I'm just coming to the basics. Hunger and thirst are the 2 senses we can feel, and we need to have this because to survive, right? But we are not clear that how we are sensing them, and we never talk about these senses. Fine, because these things have been told to us from our childhood, and we have never asked this because something is told to us by our elders, by our teachers. I'm not blaming them also. They have been also told. Okay. So now, have you ever asked or because I was also checking this thing today also itself in the net. Again, it is a dilemmatic and debatable condition. Till now, we do not have the clear count. Some saying 18, some saying 21, some says 55, and all the medical professionals are claiming that. So we are definitely much more than 5. Okay, but we always we can add that we have 6 sense. That is not about 6 sense. We are many more senses, but we have never asked. ask these questions. So my fundamental way, and so many questions I have, but I will not take much of time. So if we are having this kind of things in our mind, then we have to reframe that. My bottom line is that we have to train ourselves to question. We ourselves need to question. Each and everything is being provided to us, and we ourselves need to have some rational thinking. Then only it can be non-judgmental. That non-judgmental thing that doesn't come very naturally to us. We have to build it up, because being judgmental is being taught to us every time. Being non-judgmental is never taught to us. If the person is securing very less mark in examination, that means the person is bad student. If you are roaming around in the road being a girl, that means you are a bad girl. So these are the judgmental tags we have been given by the society. So first thing is that we need to cut them out. That's why I have told you, first we have to unlearn the whole process. We have to be very scientific and logical in your approach. Then only we can move into the basic counseling establishing process. Fine. Till now, any clarity or any question, or I should move on? Because my idea is that if you are differing from my point of view, you are most welcome, because we need to discuss about those things. Shall I move, or you want some more clarity?
Hello, ma'am. I'm Shraddhanjali.
Yes, ma'am,
Can
you
you
can
just
move.
say that since we have that what is
Shraddhanjali,
six
your
sense?
voice is not audible properly. So can you be more louder?
Hello, ma'am. Hello,
Yes, tell me.
ma'am. You have just now you said that yeah, we have also six sense. That what is it? What are these?
Which one? Sixth sense? No,
Yes,
no,
ma'am.
sixth sense. I am talking about we all are using in our day-to-day life, in our movies and theaters. We all used to know. Sixth sense means we can know the something that we can unnatural, which is not the real sense. We are talking about that those which we are feeling. Sixth sense is a joke I cracked. You don't take it seriously. We have many more senses beyond five senses. Fine. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So shall we move to another thing? But before that, again, one more thing is would like to communicate, because counseling, as we all know, that has been come to us from Western countries, right? And there it is much more developed than in our country, because till now also we struggle. First two sessions we have to struggle, and we have to orient the client that counseling isn't necessary. Counseling is not a matter of stigma or taboo, because people are still having that idea that am I an insane person, or am I that inefficient that I cannot solve my problems, and what people will think about me if I will consult a psychologist, right? So these things till now, from 2005 to till now, we are struggling with this. And as you were also entering into the profession, make it very clear and sure in your ideas that whoever comes to you, first you need to tell them as a routine. Just like before movies national anthem, before counseling you have to orient them first for 15 minutes at least. You have to orient them that yes, it is your right. Why I am telling? Because we have to orient them, because in our special socialization process, I have just started in the beginning that in our country always we are being I'm not saying everyone, but majority of them, we are being compared, and we are being talked about those things which are we are incapable of. We are pointed out that people are saying you are not good in this, but very few are saying that no, you are good in other activities or other skills. Everyone is saying no, you are not good, but nobody says that you are good in something. So here one aspect, that unconditional positive regard, I will discuss it later, but before that, being counselors, you have to accept yourself first, irrespective of your achievements, irrespective of your success rate, anything. First thing, before going into any counseling relationship, being a counselor, you have to accept yourself, love yourself, and respect yourself as you are without any change. And this is the fundamental characteristic and the fundamental notion we use to give each and every client we come across. Because this is the first step to enter into rapport building. Because if I am accepting someone unconditionally, if I am accepting someone non-judgmentally with all its positivity and negativity, then it is the best way to enter into the rapport building. Am I clear? So always remember that love yourself, accept yourself, and respect yourself as you are without any change. Fine. So with this note, I would like to go to the first stage of our stages of counseling. Here also, I would like to just give my experiences again, that when we're talking about something or talking about a stage or any process of counseling, at that point of time, we always believe in establishing some relationship. First, how we are going to establish that relationship. Because the person has come and we have just given all our briefing, then are we going to jump into the problem, or what we are going to do before that? So to start the rapport, there are certain prerequisites we have to make ready for the client. Okay. So with that prerequisite thing, we need to just complete each and every aspect. Then we should go for the session, the initial or the rapport building session. So first thing is that structure. All of you need to first talk about the structure of each and every session, because as I am saying, in our country, not everyone is very much comfortable with the word counseling. Not everyone is very much aware of this concept of counseling. So first thing is that we need to tell them that what the session is all about, what they are going to expect from the session, and how we are going to help them. Because many a times you may find that some we can say clients are coming in their mindset that I will enter into the counseling room and the counselor will do some miracle or magic, then I will come out with the solution. But this is not the way. Here we have to find out that, so each and every structure in every session, we have to first let them know the structure, what they must expect, and how the relationship should move on. Because it is the personal relationship with a professional touch. So you can discuss about personal stuff, but with in a professional territory. Okay, you cannot be so much informal. You have to be within our ethical guidelines. So first is the structure, and this is all about your time limit, all about if you are practicing privately, all about your fee structure. Then what is the duration, and how you are going to talk about the next sitting. Everything needs to be given to the client in the first or the beginning of each and every session, so that they know that yes, I have this much of time. For example, you have given them 1 hour session, then they shouldn't just talk about anything that comes to their mind. They have to very precise, they have to very much focused, so that they can move on. Fine. Then comes to the physical setting. Am I audible to everyone, or all of you are there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. And okay, fine. And now I'm just going for the physical setting. Here, one thing I would like to say: physical setting. You might have read in the book that is it required from counselor's point of view or client's point of view? Physical setting. Who said that? That physical setting or the setting of the counseling room is very much essential. Do you feel that it is essential?
Yes, ma'am, it is essential.
How we know, being counselors?
It is essential for counselor point of view, ma'am.
Okay. And from client, it is not required?
Required. If counselor is comfortable, he will try
Ma'am,
to
it is needed for both counselor and client, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, both are required.
Matching it is based on the client situation.
Both
From
the
where it
environment.
can learn.
Fine. Here and the first thing I would like to say that if we are saying both from both point of view, it is required or counselors or clients. But before that, when we're talking about, thank you, as they feel comfortable, and from both, fine. So we can say that the setting will be comfortable one, where they can sit and talk comfortably about their issues or about their difficulties. And second thing is that this will be one place where there will be no distraction. For example, in my college, if I'm in the session and some office staff is coming for signature, will the client be comfortable? For example, for signature it takes 1 minute or 30 seconds, but the person will enter, the client will be in some emotional journey, then they have to stop, then I have to sign, they will go. Is this required? No, we cannot afford that. So what we do normally, that we put a board outside, counseling is in progress, do not enter. Simple. Actually, what happens, from my experience, I'm telling, before this, in Utkal University Counseling Center also I was in charge. There I used to switch on the red light. Once the client is entering into the room, the red light is on. But Indians, we need explicit tags. No, once or twice I have faced that red light is on, someone is just bumping into the door. And we never close the door from inside. And I will also suggest that never close it from inside. Just put it in a very lighter way, so that anyone at any point of time can get out of the room first. So here I would like to say that counseling is in progress, do not enter, that has to be written very explicitly, and that has to be hanged out of the room, so that privacy will be maintained. And always remember, in that particular orientation time, privacy and confidentiality will be maintained repeatedly, we have to say. Repeatedly means with breaks. That doesn't mean privacy and confidential as a tape recorder you are saying, but in between, in your interaction, you have to say that your ideas, your information, your emotions will be kept confidential. Fine. So for these reasons, we are saying that no, setting is a must. But here one more thing, that it is, as we all are saying, that from client's point of view, from counselor's point of view, we need to talk everything based on research. Without research, we are not going to say anything. So here I would like to cite two research incidents. In 2006, one Mr. Bedi was there. He has conducted one research based on this physical setting and its importance. Actually, he was doing the whole research on counseling and its effectiveness. But one aspect of his research was regarding this. And he had actually interviewed 40 clients and asked him the most important or the topmost characteristics they like about the session or counseling process, and the rest are the other things we are not going to discuss about that. And among those 40, all have just said that the setting of the room was very comfortable. My counselor is having this much of plant in the room. I like the ambience. I like the color. So from their point of view, we are saying that they actually feel comfortable and feel like sharing their emotions in that certain ambience, right? And another research is also being done in some Western country, that is our Nasher and Dublin in 2011. They have actually clicked the 30 psychotherapists' original offices, color photos, and they have just showed some clients, those who are actually, they have gone for any counseling or they are planning to go for any counseling, and they have just showed them and asked them what are the things they are liking in those photos. The top 5 are clear, clean, comfortable, and soothing colors, and professionalism is there. People have said that from their interior, they find that the counselor is educated, aware, and very professional. And bottom 5 are messy, bright colors, clumsy, uncomfortable furniture, the unprofessional. They are also tagging people as unprofessional. So these are the people, those who we can think that yes, these are the things we need to discuss. So always remember that if we are doing all those things in one particular setting or in one particular session, always remember setting is very much required from the point of view of client as well as from the counselor, because both of you need to be comfortable in a comfortable position so that you can share each other's opinions and you are in a condition to comprehend what the other person is saying all about. Fine. So regarding setting, we have the clarity. Now we need the setting for sure. Then we can say that attires of counselor, how a counselor should be dressed. Though I know that this is not included, but we should be very much careful about our dressing, our own dressing, because many of the we can say counselors, they are being told that not to go for a very over the top dressing, because can we go to a doctor, those who is wearing some filthy kind of cloth? Will never go. Can you rely on a dentist who himself is chewing pan and whose own teeth is worst, like anything? Can we rely? What
No,
kind of
no.
ideas that is coming into our mind? How come? Can I trust the person? Are you getting the point? The same is happening with the setting also. I would like to go back again, because for example, if someone is coming and my room is a complete mess, and I'm searching for tests. For example, I have to conduct one test. I will search in front of the client, and my phone is ringing. Something is falling down. The client will say, "Is this the person on whom I'm relying?" The same is happening with our dressing also. I am not saying or any bias towards any gender or anything, but always remember that as per our occupation, we have to be careful while we are dressing. First thing is that we need to first take the client's socialization structure, then we have to dress accordingly. Either it cannot be very much show off kind of thing that we are showing our power, we are showing our wealthiness, we are showing our extravaganza. No. Where we are working and who are the target population, as per their selective norms, we have to dress ourselves so that they can relate. The rapport building will only then be fruitful. If I am not relating with you, then whatever options or skills you may be developing, but I cannot relate. You're getting the point. To get related, to get the connect, the dressing matters a lot. But I'm not saying that in every school, but in many schools I have seen that the counselors are not dressing properly, either in terms of makeup or in terms of their professionality. They are not doing in that proper way. So what is happening now? That image you are carrying with yourself, it is actually giving you some negative feedback. People may, I'm not saying your efficiency is less or high, but you are actually projecting something that people may misinterpret. So it's better that we should maintain our own decorum with dignity. That dignity has to be there. So that I am not saying that hard and tight rule, but it is as per our own brain. We can think, we can rationalize, and as per our own way, we can just have a look on our dressing. Fine. So these are some of the prerequisites before starting the rapport. We have to make these things very clear, then only we can enter into the, and these are actually directly or indirectly developing the rapport between the counselor and the client, because the client can relate with the counselor. Okay. So with this, we can go to the next one, that is our the whole about this first stage of rapport building or establishing the relationship. First, we have to talk about our setting. Second thing, we have to talk about our dressing or attire, and then we all need to talk about our that is one thing, that is our structure. So these 2-3 things we have to be very careful before starting anything. Fine. Then we will move into the fundamentals of rapport. How much you all have gone through. do you have any idea about rapport building state? How we are moving while we are building or creating rapport with our client? Any of your ideas till now from your books or from any other readable materials?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We had rapport building stage during our practical time in
Okay.
psychology. We
What
were
is that
asking
all
that
about?
whenever client was coming, we asking just are you comfortable in this position
Oh.
and comfortable in a place? Then just asking his or her name and sharing his educational qualification, sharing is about the hobbies,
Mhm.
and just I'm describing myself that I'm going to conduct some test on you. It will give you this information. So you have to give perfect information what you
Mhm.
have. Nothing is bad or nothing is wrong or right. You have to
Correct.
just answer what comes the first in your mind, as it is goes. And after finishing, I said I thanked him, and I guide him that when if you get any problem, you can consult anytime,
Mhm.
and that's all.
Okay. So I think you have just said me the whole process. Fine.
Yes, yes,
How
ma'am.
from rapport building till the end of the session, right? End
Yes,
of the
ma'am.
process. So we can say that when we are talking about rapport, why it is important. First thing is that the person, if it is a school, then there is also one discrepancy that the child will be always smaller to you. But if we are practicing outside, there will be some clients who are of equal age or who are elder to us, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
here we have to keep one thing in our mind, that whoever may be the person in front of us, being counselors, we need to first thing, we need to keep in our mind that equality of relation has to be maintained there. How we are going to maintain that equality of relationship? Because when a child is coming, because in schools you are going to get this stuff, that the child is coming in a very fearful way, that his or her name is being referred to the counselor, and many a times teachers in the class also they say that तुम्हें तो काउंसलर के पास भेज ही देंगे. So this kind of this is a very common line we all are using, but what is the impact it is having on the child or on the student? That we have to understand. So when the child is entering into our room, at that point of time we can say that we have some point of either we are elder to the person, the child, or we have some power. So the child may not think that he or she is equal with you. She may or he may refer you as sir or madam, and though the other people are also, but that fear or that the feeling of elderly or inequality is there in the mind of the child. So we have to, in rapport building, we have to make the child in a very comfortable way, without asking about the difficulties the child is facing. We have to talk about other things that he enjoys. Yes, please.
Ma'am, can I say
Please.
something? Ma'am, I have some sort of experience with children's how to build rapport. I have done some internship course. So when child come first to the counseling room or to enter the room, we use some like play activity objects like teddies, balls.
Yes.
They go to there and they take that and play along with.
Fine.
Yes, and we at first initially we start talking about their name, like school where you study, how many friends are there, are you, what type of activities you like to do at home, this type of things.
That is so nice, because I am also going to mention that if we are dealing with children, then our counseling setup has to be child friendly. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Because in university, Utkal University, we have set up because one section was there for children, small children. So that section, the flooring to the toys, everything, and the furniture has to be of their size. small little tiny furnitures so that they can sit, and we used to sit with the child so that they will feel comfortable. Okay, so this is the very good sign that you have just raised it, because when we're dealing with, and the same thing we can demand in school. I'm not saying in a very lavish way, but the basics has to be there. The basics. For example, one ball has to be there. Some puzzles has to be there. Some drawing boards has to be there. Coloring has to be there, so that the child can
Just grasp the
start,
attraction of the child.
and the child will do these things. And along with that, we can ask few questions along with the play. That is the first thing of building rapport with children. But when we are talking about adolescent children, they do not need this. Then actually in adolescent phase, what is happening, they need some kind of treatment like adults. They don't take themselves as children, they take themselves as adults, though they are not legally adult. So at that point of time, the equality has to be maintained by the counselor. We should rely, we should have trust on them, and without directly going to the difficulty, we can ask anything. And adolescents, they are ready to confess certain things if they are coming voluntarily to you. If they are being referred by someone, then they will take time. So it is up to the counselor how to make the child or the adolescent comfortable to open up. So here rapport building works as a miracle, we can say. If you are getting the connect, and in rapport building, you can predict the whole session or whole process. If rapport building is successful, then you can predict that yes, the whole process is going to be smooth. If it is not, then it is we need some more efforts on rapport building. And never ever feel that one session has to be finished as rapport building, second session the goal orientation or the problem identification. No, you just cannot frame the sessions. It may take some more time, but structure has to be told to the client. Fine. And if we are talking about adults, for example, you are doing a private practice, there the equality is there. They don't think that they're unequal, but we have to explicitly say them that yes, it is an equal relationship, and we are going to maintain this relationship, and any one of you can at any point of time put any question or any deviation from the counselor. Okay, so in this way the whole process will move on. And I'm just discussing few key terms. And what about empathy?
Ma'am, one question, ma'am.
Please.
Ma'am, how to develop a rapport with peer groups? When person know you by face to face or by college, by class, that you are from this college. No, I feel very difficulty with setting rapport with the peer group is when person know me face to face. I'm from this college and I'm from this school. But he the person doesn't express much.
Okay. Actually, you are basically asking that if the client is the friend of a counselor or a known person to the counselor, then how you are going to maintain the rapport, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here, basic thing, we always say that it is not advisable that you should go for counseling to your known person. You shouldn't. But again, one question is that there is nothing a very strong rule in anything, because anything we can amend the things. But if you are proficient enough in your professionalism, or you have having a long duration of experiences with you, okay, and you are comfortable that you can cut short your personal thing from your professional thing, then only you may have a try with your known people. Otherwise, it is advisable that you should refer this known person to another counselor, because by being known to the person, some bias, some judgmental ideas are there in our mind which will work, because we know the person, and now we are knowing the person's problems. Now we are correlating them. Then we are creating some of our own stories. As I am saying, we need a lots of practice to unlearn those things. We just cannot go for this, that yes, this is the thing and we are going to unlearn or cut it. No, it requires time. While uttering each and every word to the client, we have to think. Are we using the correct word? So if
Yes.
we are using it in our day-to-day life, or you are practicing it in our day-to-day life, it becomes easy. Because we will unknowingly also, we are not going to utter anything wrong. But if you are not practicing it, for example, you may say that it is not my counseling session, why should I use it? Then there will be a deviation in your own self, your counselor self and your original or real self. You may find a discrepancy, and that gap has to be as small as possible, or that gap should be eradicated. Shouldn't be any gap between your real self and your counselor self, being a counselor. Okay, so always try to refer. If you are not comfortable, it's better that we should refer the client to someone else. Now I would like to just discuss about the word empathy. How we know that? Because empathy is the most widely used and strongly misunderstood word by the layperson. I'm not talking about you people, but why? What do you mean by empathy? Are we empathetic? Can we be empathetic to the client?
To some
What is
extent, ma'am.
what is that actually? What is that empathy?
Ma'am,
How we understand
showing that
understand someone's feeling
if he
proper
if
way.
he said I should share the sad, I should not be happy in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I should be with him. That
Okay.
he should feel comfortable to share the situation and the problem.
Fine. Fine.
Feel
Should I?
Actually, Siba Prasad Patel was trying to say something. Can you say something? You are just saying. Huh.
just like I have an example that if someone is feeling something, just like
Mhm.
feeling something ill, then just try to understand his feeling and emotions. That is
Mhm.
empathy.
His and her, we could relate his and her feelings or emotions to our
Yes,
own way.
exactly. And we have to relate himself or herself on that particular state of mind.
Okay. Yes.
Ma'am, to try
Rajeshri.
to relate to his
Yes, please tell.
Yes, ma'am.
We have to put ourselves into her point.
Mm-hmm. Put
Hello,
yourself
ma'am.
to the client situation. Fine.
मैम
Hello, ma'am.
दूसरों को मैं अपने पाँव
Ma'am.
डाल के देख
Okay. Fine. थोड़ा
Ma'am,
अनकंफर्टेबल सा
empathy.
लगेगा ना दूसरे के शू में पाव डालना.
नहीं मैम वो सिचुएशन तब असल में समझ में आती है.
Okay, but are we comfortable with that?
No, of course we are not.
क्योंकि जो बोलते हैं ना कि we have to just put our foot in some other person's shoes. It is really uncomfortable for the client. But how we are going to do that? And it is a regular practice. Every day we have to do that. Yes, please, Rajeshri.
Ma'am, I think the empathy we can develop in ourselves through our acceptance skills. We have to accept others. Like if I am dealing with a criminal and he has
Mhm.
done some crime, despite of that crime thing, we have to think that what situation might be there. क्या हो सकता है जिसकी वजह से वो ऐसा किया. जब वो चीज को हम लोग वो लेवल को हमको मैच करना है तब हमारा एम्पैथी हो सकता है हमारा फीलिंग्स. We need to.
Hello. Hello, ma'am.
Yes. Anyone else? Yes,
Hello.
please.
Hello.
Yes, please tell. Yes. Actually, दो लोग इकट्ठा बात कर रहे हो. अंजलि आप पहले बोल दीजिए फिर गीतिमा बोलेंगी.
Hello, ma'am. Empathy is the ability to imagine how another person is feeling. Empathy है कि दूसरे की फीलिंग्स को अपने ऊपर उस जगह पे रखकर सोचना कि उसने क्यों किया. अगर वो गलत किया तो उसके पीछे रीजन क्या था ये सोचना.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Fine.
my opinion.
Okay, that's nice. Yes, Gitima Devi, please.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, as I feel, practically empathy is like presenting myself in the person's situation and trying to feel how I would have felt at that time. But in case of counseling, I think that the person should know that I am really feeling his problem or her problem. But that can also be expressed better by our facial expressions, our body languages. Like that. For example, if we pay attention very nicely, then if the person is describing something sad, we obviously will not give a smile to him or her. In that way, I think that person will feel that I am empathetic to that person.
Okay, okay. Here one question also I'm as per from your opinion I am asking you all that is it required to communicate to the client that I am being empathetic with the client, being a counselor? Is it required to communicate explicitly?
Ma'am, it's not may not be verbal communication, and in most of the cases, we can make the client comfortable.
Yes.
So that he feels
Yes.
that I am feeling his situation genuinely. That can be shown by our facial expressions and by our body language and our
That is the
reactions
best
to
thing
him.
because from our gestures itself, it will communicate that yes, I understand what you are going through. But here one thing I always say that to make empathy more easier, always try to see the particular situation or one incident from a drone's view. Then only you can feel very empathetic to the person because in a very you have to be 3D in your approach. Okay, because if we are just talking about some issues, then we are only seeing that particular incident. But if we are seeing that particular incident along with the whole context, then it is becoming easier in our part, being counselors, to empathize with the person. Am I clear? Because what situation, as all of you are saying, that we have to understand if the person is behaving in this way, then what instigated the person to behave in that way? This is one thing. And second thing, I would always say that being empathetic doesn't mean that I will always check the pain of the counselor. I can also check the happiness of the client. Okay, being empathetic means I must recognize both the pain and the pleasure of the client. It is not only about the pain, it is also about the pleasure, the success, any positive input. If the client is happy, I must feel happy from inside, and that is the sheer reciprocation. And that reciprocation itself will make the client feel comfortable that yes, I am clearly understood, my situation is clearly understood. That reciprocation has to be there. The same thing we can say that, for example, you might have checked many YouTube videos where or any laughing club where people just keep on laughing loudly. Can you just sit silently without smiling or without laughing by looking at a person who is laughing loudly? It is very difficult. It is really very difficult because we need to smile. And the same thing is happening. For example, you are watching one movie and some brutal scene is going on the screen. Yes, this kind of expression comes, Rajeshri, the way you are giving. Yes, because we feel as if the same way. Oh, how this can be happening. So this is the instant human tendency and our quality to mimic the emotions. We say it is mirror nerves in our brain. Whatever things we are seeing, we use to depict that. So if a client is coming to us with some sad scene or with some difficulties, we need to understand that, and that should come to us naturally. Okay, and that should, why I am telling, because we need to practice it. If we can smile with a comedy, if we can just get terrified with some brutal scene, then we should also be empathetic towards the client in both the pain and pleasure. Clear? Is it okay? And we always need to take a wider perspective, not only the incident. What are the adjacent things that has been created the whole situation? Then only we can be clearly or much more empathetic in our approach. Fine? And there are some technicalities in empathy, advanced empathy, primary empathy, that theoretical things. We just can go through them in your book. If any doubt, then we can have a clarification in our next session when we will be sitting. Okay, technical things has to be there, but practical things we need to take care of if we are going somewhere. Then one more thing is that unconditional positive regard, that we always use very nicely. Unconditional positive regard. We have to love unconditionally. In many relationship issues, you might find this word. People are claiming. In my college, though, I used to have a showering of these lines. Breakup, unconditional love. So you just tell me, can we love someone unconditionally in our day-to-day life, regular life?
No, ma'am.
Not at all. We have to accept that, and this is the fact. Okay, when we are saying parents' love is very unconditional, is it? With all due respect to all our parents, is it? Because if you are
No,
not
ma'am.
going to
They
obey
do have
their
some conditions.
single thing, then you will be thrashed. Okay, because in, and forget about parents, in every sector, in every facet of our life, you just have a look. Are we unconditional to everyone? No, we are not. Only one place where we are unconditional, that is the counseling session. I always say, you may not find unconditional positive regard anywhere in the world, but there is one place where you will find it, that is the counseling relationship. The counselor will accept you with all your flaws and your strengths without judging you. Okay. I would like to tell you one of my previous client. He was a boy, but he was not happy with the gender he's having. So he wants to change it. Changing and not happy, and it is a long journey. In between, lots of exploitation, harassment, isolation, discrimination, everything has happened with the person. And can the person just gather so much of strength to go for counseling? If this kind of person has come and just seek your help, then it is our primary duty to leave everything. First, give the attention to the person, because it really needs courage to get out of your soul and to get out of this so-called societal norms and go beyond that. And the confidentiality that has to be maintained, because the person is not comfortable yet. Okay, so it took me a lots of time, where I am saying about unconditional positive regard. The very first day, he came without appointment. He came without appointment, and you are not. And being counselor, you have to be flexible, really flexible. You just cannot stick to your points that no, 10 to 1 means I cannot just go beyond that. Yes, with all your own dignity, by maintaining your own safety, but we have to be flexible in your approach. When he entered into, and he was saying after lots of long pause that, ma'am, I do not want my, I do not like my body, I do not like myself. Why? And with a very astonishing way, he was saying, I want to be a girl. So just by listening to this word, what should be a common person's reaction? Because many a times we don't say, but reactions come in our face. Oh, yes. Without saying also, we also, eyes are little larger. How come? Being counselor, you have to calm down that. You have to say that, oh, it's fine. So when you are saying it's fine, his expectations of being astonished is coming to a drop. Are you getting the point? And he was saying, and he asked me literally, you didn't get astonished. I said, why? Why should I? I am a girl. Are you feeling astonished? Then he said, no. Then, are you getting the point? Rapport builds up within seconds. Rapport building takes sessions. I have sessions where 2 sessions will be going like anything, no rapport. We're trying to develop it. So success and failure will come in your way. But the point is that how you are just maintaining that thing. And do not get disheartened. And do not pressurize yourself that, no, within 15 minutes I will make the rapport, and 30 minutes I will analyze the problem, and after some time I will end the session. No, this is not happening. But a brief and tentative structure you can give. That it may take some time, and some other thing we can discuss in the next session. Are you getting my point? So that unconditional positive regard. People are taking drugs. People are cutting, self-harming. People are cheating on their girlfriends, or girlfriends are cheating on their boyfriends. At that point of also, we have to be empathetic towards the person. Being a social animal, we shouldn't say that this is right or this is wrong, because this is our socialization and this is our existing or pre-existing knowledge that if a person is cheating, he is bad or she is bad. Or so these things we have to just pull out of our mind and keep aside, and we need to start thinking. Now I am telling you, being in this profession, we have to be very much clear and calculative in our words, in our activities, in our approaches. Very randomly, we just cannot say anything or everything to someone. We have to very, and don't get disheartened that it is very tough or it is going to be difficult. It comes with time. It comes with practice. It comes with experiences. Now I used to handle, or I used to deal for maximum 4. I don't go beyond that, maximum 4 sessions per day. But I till now, I remember my first session. I have given the time to my client that 12 o'clock. From morning, I was reading books that how the client will come, what should I say, how the person will react. All those things are coming in my mind, and lots of stress and pressure I'm going through. And I'm thinking at one point of time that I was thinking, why should I be in this profession if I have to read every time so much? But things has been changed. Immediately we are taking clients. So it is going to be with you also. And whatever you have learned from the books is not going to help you. It's not going to help you there, because once the client starts talking, now you will forget all your theories, everything. So you have to go with the flow. You have to go with the flow. So for that only I'm saying there are some basic things beyond text. We have to have clarity in our mind. That's why I have said that you all have to develop scientific temper. We all have to develop a quest for questioning. We all have to develop certain things that is not matching with our norms. Whatever we have learned till now, we have to keep them aside. We should start something fresh. When we are talking about unconditional positive regard, that has to be something very new, very something exciting. And empathy, that should come to me naturally with practice. I shouldn't act that I am empathetic. I have seen also some counselors, they will say, for example, this gender issue, the client I was talking about, they may in front of say that, oh, okay, it's fine. Once the client is going out, they may think that, how come? How a boy can think of being a girl? Then your counseling is not going to be successful. Take it in a written format, because your own self is in a dilemmatic state. So how you are going to help the person? So whatever we are saying, we must first believe in that. In the very first, as I have said, that if you are confident enough to start the journey, and that confidence is coming from our belief, our education, our experiences, if yes, then we have to start it with afresh, with some new ideas, with some new concepts. And never ever say that any 2 counselors' procedures will be same. They will be different. Though you may be just using the same approach, but it has to be different, because we are 2 different unique individuals. Each one of us are unique, and our clients are unique too. So we need to take care of them in that way. So for this, I think rapport building will be fine. Is it understood? Or I made a complete mess with you all?
Ma'am, there is a doubt from my side. Ma'am, can I ask?
Please.
Ma'am, if the client is elder than us, ma'am, for example, 40 to 50 years in between that, okay. So ma'am, how we will develop the rapport, ma'am? Because ma'am, I have done an internship on a de-addiction center. So ma'am, I really want to know that ma'am, in between the age of 40 and 50, how we will develop a rapport?
Here I would like to say that your question is actually pointing out 2 issues at a time. Okay. First thing is that it is about age issue. You are talking about if the person is elder to you. And second thing is the de-addiction center.
Yes, ma'am.
When we are counseling or providing counseling services to the drug addicted people, that is a completely different ballgame. What our counseling we are learning right now, de-addiction counseling is a complete different thing. Why I am telling? because there's logical commitment or sticking to own words is not possible in their case.
Ma'am, they are
Those who
very
are,
rigid, ma'am. They are very rigid, ma'am.
again, just mind your lines when you are saying they are very rigid. We are tagging them. We
Okay,
shouldn't.
ma'am.
We cannot. Actually, why they are rigid? Again, you have to take the empathetic way. Why they are rigid? Do you know that?
Yes, ma'am, because they, due to their addiction problem, ma'am, they are, means maximum time, ma'am, they cried, they wanted to leave this habit, but due to, like, ma'am, 15 to 16 years of means having this habit, it's quite difficult for them to leave it. So most of most of the time, they cried, they wanted to be very, means.
I will tell you. I will tell you why they
Yes,
are
ma'am.
happening. These things are happening like this because those who are addicted, drug addicted persons, you might have just searched it in Google also. Those people, they are actually having some pleasure circuit in their brain. You will just search pleasure circuit, drug addiction. You will get everything in detail. Pleasure circuit in the brain. What is happening that, for example, I am a continuous alcoholic. I used to take alcohol every day. At after certain period of time, my logical thinking and rational thinking comes to an zero level. I cannot think rationally because only thing I can understand in my whole life, that is the alcohol. And that why? Because when the pleasure circuit activates, we cannot, our rational thinking dips down.
Yes, ma'am. They generally, ma'am, said like this.
They say like that. And
Yes,
for
ma'am,
example,
why to leave, ma'am? Why to leave addiction, ma'am? Some of the, ma'am, clients, why to leave
they're enjoying.
addiction?
They're
Yes, ma'am.
enjoying
Yes,
that.
ma'am. They are enjoying,
They're
ma'am.
enjoying that.
Ma'am, they don't even, ma'am, have interest to talk to me, ma'am. They are just, ma'am, forcibly they come to me and
Actually,
just. Yes, ma'am. And that's why,
I
ma'am,
always say
really.
that one suggestion for you, Ankita, if you are going for de-addiction counseling, either you go with a deeper knowledge about addiction, because it
Yes,
is
ma'am.
completely different. Here you cannot just expect them to stick to their time to maintain confidentiality, because as I have said, this is a complete different ball game at all. We just cannot expect what in our regular day-to-day life counseling and drug de-addiction counseling. There, actually, there we used to give them counseling after certain time. Once they
Yes,
have
ma'am.
left this addiction, or they have just they're clean with their addiction behavior, then only we can go for counseling. But in between, it is really difficult. So either you change the stream or you gather knowledge, then you go. Okay.
Okay.
And the second topic I am coming to you is the elder clients, those who are having more in age from you. Then how you are going to deal with them? That is again one stigma in our country. It is not happening in anywhere in the whole world, but in our country they say, अरे छोटी बच्ची है, इसके पास जाएंगे?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
मैरिटल
Yes, ma'am. Exactly,
काउंसलिंग के
ma'am.
बारे में बात करना था. She is unmarried. These are the stigmas. But in other countries, you will not find this. You just let me one day. If an IS officer can be of 25 years of age and whole administration is in their hand, if a 25 years surgeon is there, then why can't a counselor? And it is not about age. It is all about efficiency. It is all about your experiences. It is all about your proficiency in your profession. So it is up to us. And if you are finding that the person is not maintaining that clarity, or rapport is not maintained, it's better to kind of do not push, because pushing is not going to help. But those who are really in need of some help, they will not count the age of the counselor. They will come to you with their own volunteer way, and they will seek help.
Ma'am, this problem always come from the, ma'am, aged people, ma'am. Those are youngsters who are taking it. They never ever complain about my age or their age or our rapport building, ma'am. This problem always come from the aged people.
No,
That's
they
why
think
I
that
asked from.
by just elder to someone, they think that they know everything. That is
Yes,
again a
ma'am.
myth. Why I am saying? Because each generation is more intelligent than the previous generation.
Yes, ma'am.
It is science and research is saying. I am not saying. Okay. So if you are intelligent to our generation, more intelligent, then it's up to you how you are dealing with it. If they are sticking to age, then it is their loss. If they're sticking to your helping capability, then it is their gain. So you don't need to worry. They will take care of themselves. Okay. So
Okay,
these
ma'am.
are
Thank you so much, ma'am.
okay. So that's all. Or any questions we can take?
I think may I come in?
Please, ma'am. Please. It's
Yeah.
almost over, ma'am.
Yeah, that is why probably they had interaction in between and they were having enough questions. If any of you have a question, you can ask. Otherwise, it's almost 5:30. We can stop. Before stopping, about the next class, I can say any question. Anybody is, if there is, you cannot control asking. You are welcome.
Ma'am, hello, ma'am.
Please.
Shekhar, wait,
Ma'am,
wait,
what is
Shekhar.
counseling? Yes.
Shekhar, wait. You can put it in the chat box. Shekhar can put your question in the box. Pallavi, any question?
No, ma'am.
Pooja?
No, ma'am.
Rashmita?
No, ma'am.
This is another way of taking attendance. There you say yes, ma'am. This is no, ma'am attendance. Anyway, I think yes, Shashwati, we are so happy that you could come and you could meet the students. So from next week onwards, I'll take a few minutes to tell about the next course of action, because we have to go for actual practicum. In between, with students, I'm telling once in a week we will get Shashwati in our class, right? Shashwati, is it okay for you?
Yes, ma'am.
We decided Monday is a better time for you.
Yes, ma'am. No problem.
Yeah. So Shashwati will join us on Mondays. If I am free, I will definitely join. We both can have a team teaching kind of thing. Otherwise, if I am not there also, Shashwati will continue with you. It's like you can bank up to 2 teachers on Monday. So that means the moral of the story is there is no free session, even if one is not there. I'll briefly tell you about the practicum activity. Only the first one I will take. It is role play of counseling skills. So here, all these days, like in our earlier class also, we took the role of client and counselor. We had listening skills, very little we did have, but that is not for assessment. From next class onwards, what we have is the role play for assessment. So Shashwati will be with us and Manoja also will be with us in different days. I was thinking of 2 options. If you can have small groups and do it, but now sometimes I think, the best of everything we all should get.
Yes,
ma'am. So some can take active role in each session. Others can be learning through the session, and your reflections are always welcome, because I have already put a question in the Google Classroom and some have already answered it. And remember, in future, that is for your assessment also, because role play is having 1.5 credits. And when we are doing role play also, it is not just full 1.5 hours we'll have role play. We can have a little bit of theoretical discussion. Sometimes we can have a video and show how listening, responding, paraphrasing, attending, these things are going on. Through a video also we can demonstrate, or we ourselves can demonstrate. For example, Saraswati and me can talk and we can demonstrate some of it. So all this will happen, and then it is compulsory, all of you in pairs, like you have to plan it before and then come ready. Probably from next week, we'll slowly introduce this role play for assessment. I will share the alternate practicum, which we have worked out for this online mode of practicum preparation. I will share it with you. From next class, I think Sashwati, you can initially you can either demonstrate or video or explain. Even
Fine.
discussion like this is also good enough. Like
Fine.
attending skill, leading,
Each and every skill. Okay.
every skill. Yeah. So we will share it amongst ourselves. One skill you will demonstrate, or so one skill you will do the role play. I'm sorry, take assessment for role play. One skill I will do. We'll go like that. So we are very clear which skill we are doing. We will inform the students also about it. I suggest students to have a WhatsApp group for GC119.
Fine.
Because we are 4-5 resource persons here, we can have all the resource persons only for GC115, and I will share the group email ID with Sashwati also, so that from the next class onwards she can generate the link and, put
and
in
send
the
it
group email. So we can go ahead like this. This is all I want to say. I just want to say one or two things. Some of you, Santosh Pathak, are you here, Santosh?
Yes, ma'am.
Santosh, have you submitted your assignment? We didn't get even one from you.
मैम थोड़ा इश्यूज है, मैं आपको पर्सनली इन्फॉर्म करूंगा.
No. Sorry, Santosh. We are very sorry. Very sorry. Okay. Anyway, we'll talk it later. You can talk to me personally later. Because
Yes, ma'am.
Okay then. Thank you so much, Dr. Sashwati, for your enthusiastic interaction. We look forward for more enriching and vibrant sessions and learning with each other.
Thank you, ma'am.
If there's anything you can, otherwise we'll say bye-bye. It's too much of screen time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay then.
Okay. All of you, please take care. Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay.
Same here,
Bye.
ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.